building.
And I rushed home to find our house fully ablaze.
All I could see was flames just shooting out of every window.
The American Red Cross responds to over 70,000 disasters a year. Most of these disasters are small, affecting a relatively small number of people at any one time. Nonetheless, the loss is devastating for each person. Most are caused by fire, but no matter the cause, it's the Red Cross chapter in that community that responds with basic services to meet emergency needs. Red Cross chapters respond quickly to disasters with disaster action teams. These are volunteers who stand ready to respond at a moment's notice, day or night. They work closely with the fire department and other emergency services and are a welcome sight to all on the scene.
The Red Cross Disaster Action Team, which we call the DAT team, we're responsible to go out in times of crisis. And crisis could be in the middle of the day or in the middle of the night.
The Red Cross helps by providing food, shelter, disaster supplies, health and mental health services, and informational resources to those in need.
They gave me direction, they gave me help, and it was never like taking a handout. They never made you feel like it was charity. It was just people helping people. That was the best thing anybody could have given me.
Regardless of the size of the disaster, whether it be from floods, tornadoes, hurricanes, or some other cause, it is the Red Cross chapter that responds with the initial relief effort. During this response, the chapter will also assess the extent of the damage to determine the need for additional help. When a disaster proves too large for a chapter and the community to handle on its own, additional resources come from Red Cross chapters across the country. In large disasters, these efforts are coordinated by the Disaster Operations Center at Red Cross headquarters in Washington, D.C., and through a disaster operation headquarters opened near the scene of the disaster. The operations headquarters integrates the response of all chapters in the disaster-stricken area.
The job headquarters has a lot of the leadership folks. It has a lot of the support staff, the technical support staff that the operation needs.
Joe Luna, 202.
Trained Red Cross volunteers are sent to help. Emergency response vehicles are sent from across the country, as are supplies from strategically placed warehouses. In the event of approaching hurricanes or flood waters, where the threatened area can be predicted, the Red Cross will stage manpower and resources in safe areas where they can be quickly sent in after the disaster strikes. In large disasters, with hundreds, even thousands displaced, sheltering and feeding is the priority.
The Red Cross had the shelter set up at the high school. There was already coffee and refreshments ready for us, and little things for the kids to do. By the next day, food, clothing, showers, whatever we needed was there. The nurse, my children got very sick. The Red Cross nurses were there, and they helped them a lot. I don't know where I would have gone. I had nowhere to go.
Working with other organizations, the Red Cross provides hot meals, both in shelter locations and remotely, through emergency response vehicles called ERVs.
We have vehicles out in the field. They're driving all through the neighborhoods. They're handing out meals and water and other necessary items.
The Red Cross also provides for the distribution of supplies throughout the community. This can include cleanup kits, water, food, and other supplies. Health and mental health services specific to the needs caused by disaster are also provided throughout the community and within the shelter population. Caseworkers meet with individuals to discuss their disaster-related needs. In a large disaster, more resources from community agencies and government, such as FEMA, become available, and Red Cross caseworkers help people access these resources. They will also help clients communicate with loved ones, both by phone and through a Red Cross online information system. It's not unusual for a large disaster operation to remain active for weeks, even longer than a month. But eventually, the need for emergency services decreases to the extent that the chapter and other community agencies can once again assume the lead role. And with the continued support of the national operation, chapters and other community agencies will help people with their long-term recovery. What you've just seen represents what the Red Cross does during disaster, the direct services they provide. But how do they do it? That takes people working behind the scenes in support services to recruit and train people and provide the needed materials and technology. There are also other important external services, such as liaisons, who work with partner organizations, public affairs, and fundraising. As a disaster relief effort grows in size, large numbers of people with the right skills and training are needed. This usually means reaching out to other communities through the nationwide network of Red Cross chapters. Volunteers will travel to the disaster site and stay on site for a period of time to support the effort.
One of the main responsibilities of disaster staffing is to in-process the huge numbers of volunteers to provide them housing, transportation, job assignments, and get them to help the individuals affected by disaster.
Because everybody may have additional information.
Training classes are also provided for local volunteers to learn the skills needed for specific functions. Logistics is tasked with getting resources where they are needed, when they are needed. This includes vehicles, facilities, equipment, and supplies.
Logistic volunteers work in facilities, setting up shelters, providing the equipment for that, setting up offices. We have to run office situations. We also have to set up warehouses. They would also be operating vehicles to get the supplies to the shelters, disaster service centers, and the warehouses.
Managing a large relief operation requires both the people and the technical resources to provide for the exchange of information. Phones, computer workstations, internet access, even satellite communications must be up and running very quickly.
That first night here, we're setting up so that when the people arrive the next morning, hopefully they're up and running.
In addition to the internal support functions we've seen, there are people who work externally with partners, media, donors, and the public. There are liaisons who work with government and non-governmental agencies in the provision of disaster relief.
The collaboration that organizations have means that resources are better utilized, volunteers are better utilized, and information is exchanged at a much more rapid rate.
Victims of disaster need help. The Red Cross is
Fundraising is a critical function because all Red Cross disaster assistance is free. The Red Cross is not a government agency and relies on the generosity of the American people to deliver its services. Fundraising occurs throughout the year, ensuring that we can respond to everyday emergencies. And during a large disaster, the first few days and weeks are critical for raising additional funds. Communicating with the public is also essential, both to let the public know what the Red Cross is doing to assist people and to provide information as to where people can go for help within the disaster area.
Well, during a large disaster, we try to communicate what resources we can offer, like where shelters might be located or distribution sites. Also, how people can help. I mean, that's a big thing when a disaster hits. A lot of people want to know how they can help because they want to be a part of that mission. And so that's other information that we'll put out during a disaster.
Every component of a Red Cross disaster relief operation is essential. Services delivered directly to clients like sheltering and feeding, individual casework, and health and mental health services specific to disaster relief bring comfort to people and help them rebuild their lives. Support services like staffing, training, logistics, and technology ensure that the Red Cross has the ability to function effectively and efficiently. Working with the community and the public through fundraising, partnering, and communications ensure that the Red Cross has the resources to do its job. The bottom line goal of all these efforts is to ensure that the American Red Cross responds effectively to disasters, whenever and wherever they occur.